How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 3rd of November, 2021. So it's been a while since I've done some analysis on CHSB. Um, so I'm going to talk about Swissborg a little bit. I'll apologize now for two things. My nose is really bunged up, so I might sound a bit weird on the microphone. I apologize for that. And the charts might be a little bit laggy, which is something that I'm still currently working on while I'm using this software. So if that's the case, I apologize for that as well. It's not really going to affect what I'm going to be discussing today. So let's get straight into the analysis. Swissborg has obviously been sat around doing nothing for quite a while, and it can be very frustrating, especially when you can see. And the main point that I want to make in this video is that when you look around and you see lots of different projects moving, you've got stock market might be moving up, you've got other asset classes doing really well, you've got other projects in this space that are similar to Swissborg, for example, that are doing really well, and Swissborg is just kind of sat here doing nothing, right? And if you've got money sort of stuck in Swissborg, it may feel like that is exactly what it is, stuck in Swissborg, because you can't get it out, right? But it's important at this point to understand something. When we invest in a project, okay, you have to kind of separate the two types of people that may be in Swissborg. The one is definite, the other one maybe not so much, but I'm going to say it anyway. The first one is those who look at Swissborg, what they're doing, they understand the company, they understand what the company is trying to accomplish, and they understand that this is going to be a long-term investment, right? And then you've got the second person that maybe wants to be in Swissborg because at the time it was moving really, really well. So if you can see on this move here, exploding and everything looked great. And then when it pulled back and then it started to go again, it looked like it was really going to go. So they jumped in because they want to make some money and they want to make it quickly, right? And it made sense. It made sense for them at the time. So those two types will determine what you see when you are looking at Swissborg. Yeah, if you're an investor that's in for the next 5-10 years, none of this matters to you. It's just another part of the investing process. You invest, you look for opportunities to add, you accumulate more CHSB for things to come, and so on. And you just chill out with it all. Whereas people who genuinely just want to make money, yeah, and they're honest with themselves, and they just they jumped in on maybe hype, or they jumped in on maybe somebody's recommendation. Those people are probably the ones now that are going to be stressing out the most, because they look around and then they start to analyze and say, well, if I just put that amount of money that I've got invested in Swissborg into this project or into that coin or into that token, I would have made a fortune. And this is where it's very dangerous thinking like that. Maybe that is the case. Maybe if you did put your money into something else, then maybe you would have made a fortune. Who knows? I'm not here to say yes or no, but I am here to kind of, just bring things back, back down to earth a little bit, I say that sounds really arrogant. I'm here to just put a little calmness into the frustration, that those types of people or those types of investors may have while they're waiting for Swissborg to do its thing. So again, nothing much has changed. Yeah, you were looking at the weekly chart here, all the levels are the same, everything's pretty much standard. So it's bouncing around between 60 and 62, 63, 64-ish, for forever, right? We had a little bit of a move, a little bit of a pop, almost to 70, then it kind of came back down, but it's not really doing anything, it's not really going anywhere. And when you look at it like this, again, depending on what you're expecting with Swissborg and why you're in it, it's going to change your view on the chart, right? In terms of liquidity, Swissborg is being accumulated at these levels, right? Somebody may, one of you out there may be, really sort of number orientated, and you look at the numbers and you try and work things out. The buys, the sells, how much volume is going through Swissborg, and so on. And it may not feel like it's being accumulated, but I know it's being accumulated based on the analysis that I'm doing and what I look at, right? And obviously years of experience. So I'm not saying I'm right, the other person's wrong, or the other person's right and I'm wrong. All I'm saying is an observation that I see in Swissborg is that it's being heavily accumulated and it's going to pop. All right. And when it does, it's going to be, a nice move. Yeah. You guys know that I'm constantly talking about 197. I stand by that. I firmly believe it's going to go to 197. Absolutely not financial advice at all. But I believe it's going to go to 197. I think it's a great, a place to have, a good study on Swissborg in terms of the way that the chart's moving and how it's kind of getting ready to coil. It's coiling basically and getting ready to, to have a really nice movement. You also have to remember as well that some of the things that people are expecting to hit Swissborg in terms of their, their roadmap and what they're putting, onto the app, and some of the things that they're going to be bringing, CHSB Yield 2.0. You have obviously the launch pad. You've got thematics, which in their own right are not all game changers, but thematics and the launch pad I think are going to be very well received for Swissborg, because you've got to remember as well, guys. Try not to look at other projects and get the feeling right that you're wasting your time at Swissborg. Trust me, you're not. Yeah, this company's not going anywhere, and they will change the way that things are done. It's a game changer, Swissborg is. Yeah. The problem is most people can't see that right now, and they start to get frustrated when they see their money's just sat there, right? So again, I don't want to talk too much about sort of my views, and I certainly don't want to, annoy anybody, because I know sometimes, I say things because I'm so sure and I'm so confident in what I'm doing. Maybe the other person that's listening to this may not be as confident, right? So again, in terms of analysis, if I drop down to the daily, we'll just kind of zoom out a little bit, and we can see this very tight range that Swissborg's been in for quite some time, and I was talking in the the last smart talk, about there's been an uptick in, there's been an uptick in the order flow shift, right? So, like I said, I can't time when Swissborg is going to go. I just have a lot of confidence that it will. Okay. I trust my analysis. I believe in my analysis. There's not much we can discuss in the way of the actual chart itself, because, it's been the same pretty much for quite some time. But we still have daily liquidity down here within the weekly liquidity pool. And remember, here's a little hint as to why I know this is being heavily accumulated, because we're sat within a very large liquidity pool on the weekly, and it's just stayed there, grinding, accumulating. Okay. If it dips into this daily liquidity pool, that would probably be the best thing that could happen for Swissborg. Clear it all up and then off to the upside, right? If it just goes from here, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, no one's going to be complaining, right, if Swissborg goes up. So we have to remember to just be patient, I guess. I can't tell anybody what to do with their investments, but I'm, very confident in Swissborg. I absolutely would recommend it, because somebody, asked a question in the Discord chat recently. So I'm going to answer that now publicly as well, in the sense that I would absolutely recommend Swissborg, and it would probably be the first one that I'd recommend, if not the first. In fact, it would be the first one that I would recommend. I'm thinking of another project, but 100% it's on the list all day long. Yeah. And I've said this before. I do analysis for the DAO. I do smart talks, for the DAO. I absolutely love Swissborg. That's never going to change. This is where my home is, so not only do I have confidence in what they're trying to do and what what they're going to accomplish, I'm also happy where I am. Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. I'm also going to be doing for Hunter Hamish. He mentioned over on the LSP TV Discord about ENJIN. So I just want to go through. Where is it? Oh, it's there. Look, I'm going to go through ENJIN for him. I said I'd add it to the video, so we can see on the weekly. Very nice move on ENJ. Yeah. I think there's a lot of gaming stuff. There's a lot of gaming, crypto gaming related news that's hit the market recently, and it feels like there's something going to happen. there's it feels like there's going to be some partnership made, and I think ENJIN's going to continue to do very, very well. So this recent move was obviously, and I'll do it like this. And again, I can't see whether the chart's lagging, on the stream, guys. For me, it isn't, as I'm doing the analysis, but I hope it's not too bad. But whatever liquidity was in that purple box is gone. It's finished, right? It ran through it here, and then it just basically didn't have any issue going through it a second time because there's nothing there for it to go through, right? So any liquidity on this last week run up, okay, would have been within this wick, right? So if we drop down to the daily, we get rid of this box, and we just zoom out a little bit, we'd have to break that down and keep breaking it down. But in effect, I'm not going to do that. I'll just draw the most recent liquidity pool on the daily there, which you can see was traded through on that second pass. So we had a dip into it here, then it traded straight through that, and it's stabilizing up here very, very nicely. I'm not seeing any indication that this is not going to maintain its upward trajectory. What I will say is, just looking at this section of price action here that I'm slowly circling, because like I said, I don't know if it's lagging that much, is we may get a drop into 250, and then a reversal again. If it drops to 250, it's possible that it goes a little bit deeper, to pick up liquidity as low as 228. Yeah. But so far, it looks pretty strong. If it does drop and go to 228, it doesn't change the upward momentum. It doesn't change the dynamic of what's happened, recently on ENJIN. It just means that it needs to go down and pick up more liquidity to offload up here, which would be the all-time high. Yeah. So that's the analysis on ENJ. I hope the video is how can I say, received well. Obviously, it's been a while since I've done a video on CHSB, and I'm also going to be doing I'll do a secondary video on CHSB, but I'm not going to use the streaming software. I'm actually just going to use the normal way that I do videos, just so I make sure it's proper, because there's a few things that I want to kind of show you. But that'll be forthcoming at some point. Either if it's not this week, it'll be next week. It's not time sensitive, so it won't really matter when it's posted. So expect that one. And with that said, guys, hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, and I will catch up with you guys very soon. Take care.